Alright, in this video I just want to quickly go over how to access the practice problems and the links. So if you click on practice problem slides right at the end of this page, it'll open up the Google Slides where all the practice problems can be found. I believe there's about 85 or 86 of them, and these practice problems came from the company that makes your certification tests. So these are great practices to help you prepare for the certification. On each slide, it has the problem written out, and this is how it will kind of appear on your certification test. It'll have a little picture of kind of what they want the end result to look like, and then the series of tests that they want you to do. In a lot of the problems, they're also going to ask for you to open up a particular file and then go to a particular view in that file and carry out a task. So for the practices, what I did to try to make it a little easier on these slides is anytime you do need to use a file, so for example with this one we need to open up the home drawing. So for any time you need to use a file, I just have it up here linked for you to be able to download. So you'll just click on that, open up the file, and then it'll say you can't preview it, but you'll just click on download. And you may have to, after doing a few practices, up here you may have to allow multiple downloads. I don't know if it's not popping up because I've done that already or not, but it'll download the file and you'll click on it here, in which it'll open up the file, and then they'll ask you to go to a particular view. So in this case, they want me to activate the view called line. And so what you'll do in AutoCAD is you'll come up here where it says top, hover over custom views, and then you'll go to the view that they want. So they wanted the view line, and then they're going to ask you to perform a task. So in this case they want us to draw a line from here to here, and so I'll go into the line command and draw a line from point 1 to point 2. Escape to end the command, and then I'm going to get my answer through the properties bar. So that's why I recommended at the beginning of this course to have the properties bar here and open. If you didn't, so if you close your properties bar, the way to get it back is just to type in the word properties, and then your properties bar will come back. If it's floating up here, you can definitely leave it floating, but I recommend having it just locked here in the corner. And when you go to take your test, it'll already be there locked in the corner. Now for the answer, we'll click on our object and then we can find whatever they asked for us to get here in the properties bar. So for this one, they wanted the delta x. Once I have that line selected, it'll tell me what the delta x is. In addition, for every one of these practice problems, there is a link to a video where I walk through how to do the problems. So if we let it load, in this video it'll tell you how to get to the view called line, how to draw the line, how to get the answer, and I even go over some differences between why you might have gotten the wrong answer. So you can do your practices on your own as you kind of get through them, and then you can check your answers, or if there are questions that you are very unsure of, you can look over the video tutorial and access them. Now, a lot of these practice problems use the same file. So for example, we have on slide 4, 5, 6, 7, so many of these, they're all using that same file called home. They're just going to different views within that. So my recommendation is, instead of downloading the file 30 or 40 times, what you'll do in AutoCAD is once you get your answer for a problem, you'll just hold down Control and spam the Z key, or hit the Z button a bunch of times until your command bar down here says that there's nothing left to undo. Because once there's nothing left to undo, that means you've taken the file and you've put it back to its original state. So it's almost like you've opened up a brand new file, and then you can come here to the view top, go to your custom views, go to a new view, and then do that problem. But every time you finish a problem and get your answer, you'll just spam Control Z until you get to where it says that there's nothing left to undo. And so that is how you'll access all of these practices. They're all in here. You can go through them kind of at your own leisure, practice them out. Maybe if there's ones that you're unsure about, practice them a couple of times. One thing I like to do in the in-person class is we'll do them, we'll use a random number generator, and we'll pick random slides to go through, because the important part is not to memorize the numerical answers that you're getting. So I don't want to necessarily memorize that when I do this problem and I hatch this, what is the hatch area? Because you're not going to see this exact question on your certification test. You're going to see questions that are similar to it. So you'll see a question that will ask you to perform a hatch, but it'll be on a different object. So memorizing necessarily the numerical answers of these questions is not going to help you. The goal of the practices is to get you familiar with opening up the files, going to the views, performing the tasks. Because you will have to draw lines from point A to point B. You'll have to draw a polyline. You'll have to do a hatch or use the join tool, but it'll just be in different problems. Now, when you come in for your certification test, you do have to take that in person here at the school, and there is a sign-up sheet on Canvas for when you are ready to sign up for a time to come in after school and take your exam. You will be logged in on my account, so you'll have some extra privileges that you might not have had otherwise. And instead, what you'll do to access your problems is you'll just click on this open button here, and then you'll go into your C drive, Autodesk exams, AutoCAD. Currently there are no problems in here because I don't have a test launched, but when I have a test launched, all of your problems will be in here. And once you open a problem from that folder once, the next time you go to the open command, it'll always just go right back to this folder. That will be something I can help you find during the exam, so I will be able to help you access these files and locate them, but I won't be able to offer any help with any of the tasks in the software at all. So that's why the practices are very helpful for getting you ready for this certification test. Because like I said, these practices are coming right from the company that made your exam. When you're all set practicing them through this slideshow, there's also up on Canvas, and this version of the Canvas homepage is going to look a little different than what you're used to just because I'm still building the course. But there is an untimed practice and a timed practice exam for you to take. So this will essentially spit out 30 random questions at you. And again, it's going to look a little bit different, but it's taking them from my bank of questions, which are all of the questions that you've seen in the certification prep questions or practice problems here. It's all the same questions, but this way they're just loaded into Canvas. And so it'll give you a question. Some of them are multiple choice. Some of them you'll have to type in your answer. And it'll give you just a random 30 for you to practice. And there's also on Canvas, if we go back, there is a timed practice that will spit out a random 30 questions. I recommend you do this time practice a few times in Canvas, just because your certification exam is timed. You get 50 minutes to do the 30 problems, and this then will allow for you to practice. Let's see if it will let me kind of preview it as a student. Oh, good, it will. So it'll give you 30 random questions. It'll tell you to open up a file, go to this view, move the object labeled sync 50 units. What is its new position X, which you can find in the why am I blanking? The properties palette, the properties bar, and then you'll move on, you know, to the next question and the next question, and so on and so on and so on. As you go through these, there'll be this timer that runs, and once 50 minutes is up, the quiz will close and your test will be submitted. So let me see if I can get my way to, I just kind of want to go to problem, the very last one. But there doesn't seem to be a way for me to just, there's a way for me to pin questions, but there should be a little bar here on the side that allows me to just go through all of them. Because I just want to get to question 30, so I'm just going to spam my way there. So it just gave me 30 random questions each time you retake it. So I'll just hit submit, and it'll give me a grade, and unfortunately I got a 0. It tells you how much time you took, and for each question it'll give you what the answer is and a link to the YouTube video that explains the question itself. And the untimed practice does this too. So this is just a good way for you to practice all of the questions. If you get the question wrong, go to the YouTube video and watch it to see if you can get it correct. And then once you're all done, you can retake the timed practice and the untimed practice multiple times, so you can keep redoing it and getting your score better and better and better. This would be this timed practice would be what I recommend you do at least 4 or 5 times, just to kind of get the hang of it, because that time limit on the certification practice tends to be what gets students more so than the actions that they're asked to do. It's just doing it in a shorter amount of time is what tends to stress students out a little bit and make it a little harder. So those are the several different ways you can prepare for your certification test. You've got the just general free flowing practices here, all with video tutorials of how to do the problems. You have the untimed and timed practices, which utilize all of these same practice problems. They're just in Canvas, so it helps kind of give you an idea of what your score would be and the areas or questions that you need to practice more. And then once you're all set, there will be a sign up link to sign up for a certification exam time. And again, you'll have to do that after school, because you have to do it in the drafting lab, and we are using the lab during the regular school day. So you'll sign up for a day after 3:30 to come in and take the exam. You can retake the certification exam too, so if you do not like the score that you got, you can come and retake it if you want. And that should be all from the video. If you have any questions about the certification or practicing the certification, let me know. And good luck practicing.